All right, this is another one in the Glenn Twiddle frequently asked questions, and this is also an opportunity for me to test out how these things come out on an iPhone. Just had a question from a great student talking about, listen to one of my CD of the month, one of my more interesting ones, with a guy talking about how when he got into real estate, he just made 400 cold calls. That was seen cold calls every single week. And the question was, just reading it from the computer, if he was doing that, if you've got a territory or farm area, how do you find the phone numbers for that suburb? And surely that area can't sustain that many calls over that time. I suppose I'm missing something, and also how do I find out which numbers are unrestricted or not? Okay, excellent question. I'm going to answer them a couple of, there's a few questions there, so let's go through them one at a time. First off, because he did it, consistently, 400, 400 calls every single week in his area, ever since the start of his career, to kickstart his career. And you know what? Just recently, in the market that we're in right now, what he said to me recently is for the last 2 months, he's been doing the same thing. He sucked it up and he got back on the horse. He's got 8 years experience or something like that. And he got back on and did it. And by the way, in the last 2 weeks, he's listed 12 properties, all with a seller paid marketing investment, well priced, and the job will be done for those sellers. So that was a really good and instructional thing that even now, someone with a whole lot of experience can still use that strategy to get a whole heap of sales and listings in this marketplace. And in the last, what did he say? I think in the last 6 weeks he said he sold $5 million worth of real estate, pocketing over $100,000 in commission. So, not a bad effort. So now, answering the question, let's get to it. How do you find the phone numbers for that suburb? Well, again, there are databases you can purchase, and some databases, they have restrictions on whether or not you're allowed to use those phone numbers for direct marketing purposes. So you do the investigations on how much you've got to pay for those databases. Some of those databases, when they're real estate specific, do have some terms and conditions to that saying you're not allowed to use the databases for direct marketing purposes. So what that means is that you have to decide for yourself what you deem direct marketing purposes. Some of those databases that you can purchase have no restrictions, and of course you can use them for telemarketing. Of course, one of the questions he just said, how to find out which numbers are unrestricted or not, you do have to comply, of course, with the do not call register and all the telemarketing rules, therein. So certainly don't call anyone using the do not call register, because there's risk involved with that, and there's an agent did actually just get fined. But there's no such thing as a do not door knock register. There's no such thing as a do not send a letter register. So, don't let that do not call register, those ones that are on the do not call register, you find another media how to get through to those ones, Now, the other question is, and this is an important one, surely that area can't sustain that many calls over that time. Well, it depends on the size of your area. Now, if you've got 1,000 properties in your market area, which is what one of my guys subscribes to, I believe the fellow who did those calls, he had a couple of thousand. He had about 2,000, and he used to call them at a rate of 200, 300, 400 a week. Well, if he's doing an average of 300 a week, and he's calling 200 homes, well, he's only getting to them once every 6 weeks or so. Believe me, you're not as, you'll be tolerated that amount if you're saying the right thing. Now, if you're just calling them up and saying, hey, you want to sell? No, see you later. Well, maybe they won't tolerate that, but you know what? Maybe they will. And the fact is, the ones who don't probably were never going to be a customer anyway. The other thing you can sort of say that I've been talking about is, if you're just going on a cold call strategy, which that interview of that fellow, that if you email me, I can get you a copy of if you haven't seen it. That particular fellow, our only strategy was outbound telemarketing phone calls. At that time, that's all we knew how to do. So put up with it or not, that's all we did, and we just did it en masse. Now, here's a tip that I've certainly learned. If you mix up the media and you alternate the media, you can contact more frequently without upsetting them. So if you just send them a thank you card 1 month, phone call the next month, email the next month, an SMS the next month, man, you can contact them at least once every 4 weeks, at least. And that will be not only tolerated, you will quickly become the agent of choice in that area, because you'll be the only one that they've ever heard from. Certainly the only one they've ever heard from in any sort of regular basis. And some of those systems, SMS, greeting cards, emails, some of those systems can be put on complete and utter autopilot as well. So I hope that answers the question. First off, in its crudest form, can that area tolerate that amount of contact? Hell yes. You've got to stay in contact. You can't be precious about this. You can't be saying at the end of 6 weeks, 8 weeks, like some of my guys used to do back in the day, oh, I've done my area, Glenn. Now what? Do I get a new area? You haven't done your area until you've got a 50, 60, 70, 80% market share. Again, young Chris Gilmore, he absolutely stays in touch with his area. But he's not always talking real estate with the area. He's inviting them to things. He's sending them free gifts, free vouchers, free coffees, free coffee voucher, free pizza voucher, invites to Mother's Day competitions, footy tipping competitions. He's staying in touch with his marketplace in areas other than just real estate. He's even set up a home protection, a Druvale Residents Against Crime, like a neighborhood watch thing, but it's online, you know. Again, staying in touch with your marketplace, but not in real estate mode. So there's a few tips. Hope that was food for thought. I apologise for being in a t-shirt, but I did want to answer that question straight away, and I hope that was helpful for my subscriber who asked the question. Hope that was helpful for you guys who aren't subscribers. Stay tuned. If you need anything else from Glenn Twiddle, you guys know where to find me, glenn@glenntwiddle.com.au. And if you're not a subscriber to my CD of the Month or other programs, what are you thinking? In this marketplace, there's a free gift for you at realestatefreegift.com. Go and get it. Get yourself something for nothing. See if I've got the goods for you. And I look forward to talking to you again. Hope that answer was of some help. Bye for now.